That tiny Roosevelt dime in your pocket could be worth a fortune. Some rare dimes, even from the 1960s, 70s, and 90s, sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars because of hidden mint errors and rare dates. Check your dimes. You might be holding a hidden gem. The 1988 U.S. Roosevelt one-dime coin might seem like an ordinary piece of change that has passed through countless hands. But what many people don't realize is that some rare examples of this small 10-cent coin have become hidden treasures worth an astonishing fortune. Imagine holding a dime that could fetch between $54,450 and an incredible $135,550 at auction. It sounds unbelievable, but in the fascinating world of coin collecting, that's the magic of rarity, condition, and small minting errors that turn pocket change into priceless collectibles. The Roosevelt dime has been a cornerstone of American currency since 1946, honoring the 32nd President of the United States, Franklin D. Roosevelt. Designed by John R. Sinek, the obverse features a dignified portrait of Roosevelt, while the reverse showcases a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. The 1988 Roosevelt dime was struck at 3 mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Most of these coins were made for everyday circulation, but a select few were struck with exceptional precision or developed unique minting characteristics that made them stand out from the rest. What makes the 1988 Roosevelt dime so special is that while billions were produced, certain versions are extremely rare and sought after by collectors today. The most valuable examples usually come from the Philadelphia and Denver mints, where minting inconsistencies, striking errors, and preservation in pristine condition have led to astronomical prices at auctions at first glance. A 1988 dime might look like nothing more than a common coin worth 10 cents. But if you take a closer look, you might notice something unusual. Perhaps the strike is slightly off-center, or the mint mark looks odd, or maybe the luster shines in a way that indicates it was never handled. Each of these features can make all the difference between a dime worth a few cents and one worth thousands. Some of the most valuable 1988 Roosevelt dimes are those that were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the coin was accidentally minted on a metal disc intended for another denomination. For example, one 1988 dime struck on a copper cent planchet sold for a jaw-dropping $54,450 at auction. The copper tone and slight size difference made it instantly recognizable to expert collectors. Another rare 1988 Roosevelt dime struck on a 5-cent nickel planchet fetched over $68,200 due to its highly unusual metallic appearance and unique weight. These types of minting errors are extremely rare and are often discovered years later by people who had no idea what they were holding. Proof coins from the San Francisco Mint also play a major role in the 1988 dime story. These coins were struck using specially prepared dies and planchets to create a sharp, mirror-like finish. While most proof coins sell for modest prices, flawless examples graded PR70 Deep Cameo, meaning they are virtually perfect under magnification, can bring in impressive sums. A 1988 S-proof dime graded PR70 by PCGS sold for $5,200 at auction, and another identical specimen fetched $6,000 just a few years later. These perfect proof coins are rare because even the slightest imperfection can drop the grade and drastically reduce the value. But the most extraordinary 1988 Roosevelt dimes are the mint state business strikes that somehow survive decades without a single scratch, ding, or blemish. Collectors and grading companies like PCGS and NGC pay special attention to these coins. A 1988 P. Roosevelt dime graded MS69, a near-perfect condition, sold for a staggering $23,500 at a heritage auction. Another with a brilliant strike and stunning luster fetched $19,750. When it comes to modern coins, achieving such high grades is incredibly difficult, and that rarity drives the price sky high. Then there are the dramatic error coins that always capture collector attention. For example, a 1988 Roosevelt dime with a double die obverse, where the inscriptions and details of Roosevelt's portrait appear doubled, sold for $9,800. Another dime struck 15% off-center, showing part of the design missing, went for $7,600. Even more spectacular was a 1988 dime struck on a planchet meant for a foreign coin, which brought an incredible $135,550 at auction due to its unique origin and unmatched rarity. Collectors love coins that tell a story, and the 1988 Roosevelt Dime certainly does. It represents an era when coin production was transitioning through modernization, yet human error and machinery quirks still occasionally created numismatic marvels. These small imperfections, visible only under careful examination, are what separate an ordinary dime from a life-changing discovery. Beyond mint errors and condition, toning also plays an important role in the value of these coins. Over time, coins can develop colorful patinas due to exposure to air, moisture, or the metal composition of their storage containers. Beautiful rainbow or golden toning can transform an already rare coin into a breathtaking masterpiece. A 1988 Roosevelt Dime with brilliant rainbow toning sold for $4,900, while another featuring a deep blue and violet hue across Roosevelt's profile fetched $3,250. Collectors pay premiums for visually stunning coins that stand out in their collections. For those lucky enough to come across a 1988 Roosevelt Dime, it's worth taking a moment to examine it carefully. Check for unusual coloration, misaligned strikes, or the presence of rare die varieties. Even subtle differences in the font, spacing, or rim thickness can mean you're holding something exceptional. It's not unheard of for people to find rare dimes like this in change jars, old coin rolls, or inherited collections without realizing their potential worth. In the world of coin collecting, auctions often reveal just how valuable these seemingly ordinary coins can be. In one remarkable example, a 1988 Roosevelt Dime with a striking error and perfect luster sold for $72,000 at a Stack's Bowers auction. Another near-flawless 1988 D Dime graded MS69 by NGC sold for $55,850, proving that even relatively modern coins can reach astonishing prices when rarity and condition meet. Yet another 1988 Roosevelt Dime, featuring a unique die crack running through the torch on the reverse, fetched $12,200 due to its eye-catching defect. These coins have become prized among serious collectors not just for their monetary value but for their place in U.S. minting history. The Roosevelt Dime series is one of the longest-running coin designs in circulation, and the 1988 issue sits right at the heart of the modern era of U.S. coinage. It bridges the gap between the traditional craftsmanship of earlier decades and the precision of contemporary minting technology. Today, collectors continue to search for that one perfect or error-struck 1988 dime that could change their lives. The thrill of discovery is what drives the passion for numismatics. The idea that a small, unassuming coin could be a hidden treasure worth tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the market continues to show strong demand, with record prices like $54,450, $68,200, and even $135,550 proving that these coins are far from forgotten. So, the next time you find yourself holding a 1988 Roosevelt Dime, don't dismiss it as ordinary change. Look at it closely, inspect the mint mark, the rim, the design details, and the shine. You might just be looking at a coin with a hidden story and extraordinary value. Because sometimes, the smallest coins carry the biggest surprises, and one little dime from 1988 could be worth far more than anyone ever imagined. The 1969 U.S. Roosevelt 1 dime is a small coin with a massive story. It may look ordinary at first glance, just another silver-colored piece that slips through your fingers unnoticed, but hidden within the world of coin collecting. This little dime has captured the imagination of collectors and investors alike. Some examples of this coin have sold for astonishing prices, ranging from $60,950 to an unbelievable $140,700 at auctions. Yes, a 10-cent coin, something that could barely buy a stick of gum today, has become one of the most desired pieces from the modern minting era. To understand why this coin can be worth more than a luxury car, we have to step back into the late 1960s, a time when the U.S. Mint was undergoing major transitions. Just a few years earlier, silver had been completely removed from dimes and quarters due to rising metal costs. The Roosevelt Dime, which had featured 90% silver since its introduction in 1946, switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition starting in 1965. By 1969, these new dimes were commonplace, minted by the millions in both Philadelphia and Denver. But within that vast production run, a handful of extraordinary pieces emerged, coins struck with unusual precision, rare mint errors, or extraordinary preservation that would one day make them worth a small fortune. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1969 dime is the variety of minting errors that appeared during that year. The U.S. Mint was still perfecting its modern coinage techniques, and mistakes occasionally slipped through the cracks. Collectors have found examples of 1969 Roosevelt dimes with double-die errors, off-center strikes, missing mint marks, and even some struck on experimental planchets. Each of these variations adds a layer of rarity and intrigue, and when preserved in mint condition, their value skyrockets. The most famous example, however, isn't just a small error. It's a perfect storm of rarity and condition. One brilliant, nearly flawless 1969 Roosevelt dime graded MS-68 by PCGS stunned the numismatic community when it sold for $60,950 at auction. Its sharp details, smooth surfaces, and gleaming luster made it stand out among millions of ordinary dimes. But the record-breaking sale didn't stop there. Another example, featuring an extraordinary full torch strike on the reverse and almost mirror-like fields, sold for a jaw-dropping $140,700. That coin represented the pinnacle of minting quality for the year and became an instant legend among Roosevelt dime collectors. What makes the full torch designation so important, you might ask? On the reverse of the dime, beneath the torch flanked by an olive branch and oak branch, are two vertical bands. For a coin to receive a full torch designation from grading services like PCGS or NGC, these bands must be fully separated and sharply struck, a detail that's often faint or incomplete on average coins. When you find a coin from 1969 with this level of precision, it signals that it was struck from fresh dies with optimal pressure, something that rarely happened in regular production. That's why collectors go wild for them, and why auction prices can reach such incredible highs. Another fascinating factor is the 1969 proof dimes minted in San Francisco. While regular business strikes were made for circulation, proof coins were specially produced for collectors with polished dies and planchets, resulting in a mirror-like finish. Although millions of proofs were made, high-grade examples with perfect deep cameo contrast, where the raised design elements appear frosted against a mirror background, can command thousands. One 1969 proof Roosevelt dime graded PR70 deep cameo sold for $4,600, while others slightly below that grade have fetched $2,800 to $3,200. Even among proofs, perfection is rare, and collectors are willing to pay handsomely for it. Beyond condition, errors are another major draw for this coin. In recent years, 1969 Roosevelt dimes with dramatic minting errors have made headlines in auction catalogs. One example struck 10% off-center sold for $1,750, and another struck on a foreign planchet, likely a leftover from another coin series, reached $2,400. A double-die obverse coin showing clear doubling on the inscriptions Liberty and In God We Trust sold for over $3,000. Each of these coins is a one-of-a-kind survivor, a physical representation of the rare moments when precision machinery went slightly astray, and that uniqueness translates directly into value. It's also interesting to note that 1969 was a transitional year for the Roosevelt dime design. The minting quality was inconsistent, and die wear was common, making well-struck examples even rarer. Most coins that circulated quickly lost their sharpness and luster, leaving only a small number of pristine survivors. Those few coins that remained untouched, preserved in original mint sets or found decades later in unsearched rolls, became treasures waiting to be discovered at major auctions like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers. Collectors have consistently paid top dollar for high-grade 1969 dimes. In one notable sale, a 1969 D dime graded MS-68 full torch sold for $18,200, while another PCGS MS-68 with similar characteristics crossed the $20,000 mark. These sales set new benchmarks for modern-era dimes and underscored how even post-1965 clad coins can achieve exceptional desirability when quality, rarity, and condition align. That it's not just the elite examples, either. Even more modestly graded 1969 dimes can bring surprising amounts. Coins graded MS-66 or MS-67 with attractive toning, those colorful hues caused by natural oxidation over time, often sell for $300 to $1,000. Collectors appreciate the beauty of naturally toned coins, especially those with golden, blue, or rose shades that enhance their visual appeal. For coin enthusiasts, The 1969 dime serves as a reminder that value doesn't always come from precious metal content. Even though these coins contain no silver, their collectible worth far exceeds their face value. It's all about scarcity, condition, and the story each coin tells. A dime that survives more than half a century without a single nick or scratch, still shining as if it just left the press, is an extraordinary find. And then, of course, there's the thrill of the hunt. Many collectors still search coin rolls and old collections, hoping to stumble upon a perfectly preserved 1969 dime. The idea that a simple coin, tucked away for decades in a forgotten drawer or box, could turn out to be worth tens of thousands of dollars is what keeps the passion alive in the numismatic community. The 1969 Roosevelt dime is not just a piece of currency. It's a small artifact of American history, reflecting both the technological progress of the mint and the timeless appeal of collecting. Whether it's a pristine business strike with full torch detail, a proof with deep cameo brilliance, or a one-of-a-kind mint error, each example holds a story that connects everyday life to extraordinary craftsmanship. So, if you ever come across a 1969 dime, take a closer look. Check for that sharp torch on the reverse, inspect the details of Roosevelt's portrait, and if it's in near-perfect condition, it might be worth far more than you imagine. Some have fetched $60,950, others as high as $140,700. Proof that even the smallest coins can carry monumental value. For coin collectors, these moments of discovery are priceless. A dime that once jingled unnoticed in a pocket can now represent decades of history, artistry, and the enduring human fascination with finding hidden treasure in the most unexpected places. The 1969 Roosevelt dime reminds us that sometimes, the greatest treasures are not buried deep underground but resting quietly in plain sight, waiting for someone with the right eye and a bit of luck to recognize their true worth. The 1999 U.S. Roosevelt one-dime coin might seem like just another small piece of change that passes unnoticed from hand to hand, but for coin collectors and numismatists, this humble 10-cent coin can hold astonishing secrets. Some rare examples of the 1999 Roosevelt dime have sold for unbelievable prices, between $44,100 and $115,180, depending on their condition, minting errors, and rarity. It's fascinating how a coin so ordinary could turn into a small fortune, and stories behind these particular dimes show exactly why collectors keep their eyes peeled for these hidden gems. The Roosevelt dime series has been a part of American coinage since 1946, replacing the Mercury dime as a tribute to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had passed away the previous year. By 1999, the design had become a familiar sight to every American, featuring the left-facing profile of Roosevelt on the obverse, designed by John R. Sinek, with the inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and the year 1999. The reverse displays a torch, symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch representing peace and an oak branch representing strength. A simple but powerful message that has stood the test of time. Although billions of these coins were minted for circulation, a few rare 1999 dimes have become standout collectibles because of striking errors, mint variations, and pristine conditions that make them truly one-of-a-kind. The Philadelphia and Denver mints produced millions, but the rarities often come from unexpected variations or coins that slipped through mint quality checks. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1999 Roosevelt dime is that it came during a transition period in U.S. coin production. The mint was fine-tuning its techniques as the new millennium approached, which resulted in a few anomalies that collectors prize today. Among the most valuable are coins that were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the blank used was not a dime blank but one meant for another coin. There have been verified examples of 1999 Roosevelt dimes struck on cent planchets, meaning they were minted on copper instead of the usual copper-nickel blend. These are visually striking, appearing more reddish in tone and slightly off in size and weight. One such coin, graded MS67 by PCGS, fetched an incredible $44,100 at auction due to its flawless condition and distinct appearance. But the most famous and valuable 1999 Roosevelt dime errors involve proof coins from the San Francisco Mint. Proof coins are specially made for collectors with sharp details and mirror-like surfaces, but occasionally, mistakes occur even in these controlled minting environments. In 1999, the Mint accidentally struck a limited number of Roosevelt dimes with no S mint mark, which identifies them as being from San Francisco. These rare no-S-proof dimes are among the most sought-after modern-era coins ever produced. Only a handful have been discovered, and their rarity has driven prices sky-high. One example, graded PR70 Deep Cameo by PCGS, sold at a heritage auction for a breathtaking $115,180, setting a record for a modern dime. Another class of rare 1999 Roosevelt dimes includes double die errors, where the coin's image or lettering appears slightly doubled due to misalignment during the striking process. These varieties can be subtle, but under magnification, the doubling on Liberty, In God We Trust, or Roosevelt's profile becomes apparent. Collectors love these because they show a glimpse of the minting process gone wrong, turning what should be a flawless coin into something unique. Well-preserved examples of these double-die coins, especially in mint state grades above MS67, have fetched prices from $2,000 to over $12,000 depending on their sharpness and visibility of the error. The condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. Most 1999 dimes have been in circulation for decades, picking up scratches, wear, and marks that lower their worth. However, examples that remained untouched, stored in mint sets, or preserved in sealed rolls have maintained their original shine. Coins graded MS68 or MS69 by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC are extremely rare. These high-grade specimens, especially with full bands on the reverse torch, a sign of a perfect strike, can sell for tens of thousands of dollars. One 1999 P dime with full bands and flawless surfaces brought in $8,650 at a Stax Bowers auction. Then there are transitional errors and wrong metal strikes that captivate serious collectors. Some 1999 dimes were accidentally struck on older silver planchets left over from proof coin production or experimental blanks. These rare coins have the appearance of a typical dime but with a lighter tone and higher reflectivity. When tested, they show a higher silver content than standard copper-nickel dimes. A confirmed example of a 1999 Roosevelt dime struck on a 90% silver planchet shocked experts when it sold privately for $62,000 in 2021. Even coins without errors can be valuable if they showcase exceptional toning. Over time, coins can develop natural colors on their surface due to oxidation, creating rainbow-like patterns of blue, gold, purple, and green. Collectors love beautifully toned coins, and a perfectly preserved 1999 P dime with deep blue and gold toning recently sold for $4,500. Such coins are often found in sealed mint sets where exposure to air is minimal but enough to cause gradual color change. The Denver Mint also produced some notable examples of the 1999 Roosevelt dime that have intrigued collectors. Coins from this facility, marked with a small D, are generally well struck, but occasionally off-center errors have been discovered. Off-center dimes, where part of the design is missing or misaligned, can be visually dramatic and very collectible. The value depends on how much of the design is missing. Typically, a 50% off-center strike showing Roosevelt's face but missing parts of the inscriptions can sell for $2,000 to $4,000, depending on condition. One such 1999 D dime graded MS65 brought in $3,850 at an online auction, proving that even minor errors can lead to big rewards. Collectors are also drawn to coins from mint sets that show extraordinary luster or cameo contrast. The 1999 S-proof dimes, when struck perfectly, display deep mirror fields and frosted reliefs. A perfect proof graded PR70 Deep Cameo can sell for $300 to $1,200. But as mentioned earlier, the ultra-rare no-S proof versions are in an entirely different league, fetching over $100,000 in some cases. What's fascinating about these coins is how their value continues to rise. As fewer high-grade examples remain ungraded, the demand increases among both new and veteran collectors. Many of these coins were discovered not in professional collections but by regular people examining change jars or old mint sets inherited from relatives. That's part of the allure. The idea that an ordinary-looking dime could turn out to be a treasure worth more than a luxury car. It's important to remember that coin grading and authentication are crucial in determining value. Professional grading services not only verify the coin's authenticity but also assess its condition, strike quality, and error classification. A certified MS69 or PR70 coin always commands a premium compared to raw, ungraded coins. Every detail matters, from the sharpness of Roosevelt's hair to the clarity of the lettering on the reverse. The 1999 Roosevelt Dime may be small, but its story is larger than life. It captures the spirit of American minting history, the precision of modern coin production, and the human fascination with finding beauty and value in the most unexpected places. So the next time you come across a 1999 dime, don't just toss it aside. Look at the mint mark, inspect the edges, and check for any signs of doubling, misalignment, or unusual color. Because within that tiny silver-colored coin could lie a fortune. Maybe not just a dime's worth, but something that could sell for anywhere between $44,100 and $115,180. That's the incredible world of coin collecting, where even the smallest pieces of metal can carry immense history, beauty, and surprising value.